You know how sometimes the most amazing clarity can come from total chaos? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. We're going to unpack the core ideas of the book Opening to Spirit, which is all about this incredible, powerful journey from the depths of psychosis to a place of real vision and understanding.
This quote right here, it just nails the central puzzle of the author's experience. It really sets the stage for everything. It's this wild, almost violent swing between chaos and order that, strangely enough, becomes a doorway to incredible insight. So let's see how this all started.
To really get a handle on the healing part of this story, we first have to understand the wound. And the author's story kicks off in a world that was just defined by this intense, dizzying chaos. And this wasn't just an idea. This was their actual day-to-day reality.
I mean, look at this contrast. It's like night and day. On one side, you have this psychotic state, impulsive, angry, completely chaotic. But then, breaking through that noise, were these little flashes of absolute certainty and deep, profound connection. It was just this constant, exhausting seesaw from total disorder to this incredible, almost blissful clarity.
And we're not talking about a bad week here and there. For almost 25 years, from the time they were 15 to 39, 2/3 of the author's life was spent just trying to navigate this incredibly unstable state. That just shows you the sheer size of the mountain they had to climb.
So you have to ask, right? What was the engine behind all this instability? Well, the book points to one single, powerful root cause: trauma. The idea is that this chaos wasn't random at all, but a direct result of past pain literally shaping their present-day reality. And the book has a really specific definition for trauma. It's not just a bad memory you have. It's a present-day feeling of being completely overwhelmed by a pain that started in the past. And it's that feeling, that overwhelm, that completely blocks a person from reaching their true potential. And here's how that works. It's like a domino effect in your body. First, trauma puts your nervous system on high alert all the time. That, in turn, messes with your ability to manage your emotions. And the end result? Your window of tolerance? That's the zone where you can handle life's stress. It just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And that brings us to the whole goal of healing, making that window bigger. See, it's not about getting rid of tough emotions. It's about creating enough space inside yourself to feel the full range of emotions without getting completely knocked off your feet and thrown back into that chaos.
Okay, so we've spent some time on the problem. Now for the good part, the solution. The book actually lays out a super practical, step-by-step framework for recovery. It's a path back to wholeness.
I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? When you're stuck in that place of total overwhelm, where on earth do you even start? Well, the book suggests the first steps are all about laying a new foundation. And man, does it take courage. It all starts by turning towards the pain, not running from it. It's this process of first acknowledging the pain is real, then validating that, yeah, what you went through was legitimately hard, and then accepting that your reaction to it is a totally normal human response. Only then can you start that careful, gradual process of facing it.
I absolutely love this metaphor from the book. You can't just rip the whole thing open at once. You'd be completely flooded. Instead, it's like peeling an onion. It's a careful, layer-by-layer process, you know? You just deal with what you're ready for, one layer at a time.
So, building on that emotional work, the book lays out this really holistic plan. And what's fascinating is where it starts, with cold, hard, objective data. Before you even dive deep into the psychological stuff, the very first step is to get a baseline with things like blood tests and gene assessments. It's all about getting the physical body stable first to create a safe platform for the rest of the journey.
And all of this brings us to the absolute core concept of the book. Once you've laid this foundation for healing, we can finally understand what it really means to open to spirit. And let me tell you, it's probably not what you think.
So the book defines spirit in this very grounded, very universal way. It's not some separate being or a mystical force out there. It's the grand total of all the transformation, all the growth, all the change happening everywhere all the time. Think about it, from a single cell dividing to a whole galaxy forming. It's the engine of all change.
So get this. This means opening to spirit isn't about adding something you don't have. It's about removing the blockages, all that trauma, all those negative beliefs that are cutting you off from this natural, universal flow of transformation. Healing is just coming back home to a connection you already had. And this quote just captures that whole idea perfectly. It's an active process. It's about self-discovery. Instead of letting your trauma or other people define you, The whole journey is about finding out who you really are, and then having the guts to live that way.
So what's the end game here? What does life actually look and feel like after a journey like this? Well, the goal isn't to just float away into some spiritual bliss. It's about creating a totally new, integrated way of living, right here, right now.
The shift is just profound. You go from this fragmented self, basically being driven unconsciously by old wounds, to an authentic self, one that's connected, that's resilient, and is consciously creating its own reality from a place of purpose, not a place of pain.
And this is the ultimate goal. The author calls it walking in both worlds. It means you don't ditch your normal material life, you bring that bigger spiritual awareness into it. You can handle your bills and your job, all while staying plugged into that deeper sense of purpose and flow. It's about being whole.
If there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this right here. The book argues that we tend to think of healing our trauma and our spiritual growth as two different things. But what if they're not? What if they're actually one and the same? Facing our deepest wounds, clearing out our trauma, that is the spiritual journey.
So, we'll leave you with this thought. The author's journey proves that even in the most intense, unimaginable chaos, there can be a seed of profound vision and order. And that kind of leaves us with a powerful question for ourselves, doesn't it? What amazing clarity might be waiting on the other side of our own challenges?